Ep29, and you're all very welcome.
Brilliant. We got some exciting news tomorrow. What are we doing, boys?
We're going over to our school to talk about worms.
So we're going into a nursery class, and then we're going into a P3 class to discuss, talk about our worm farm. So yeah, we're all excited, super excited, aren't we, boys?
Yes.
We worried? Scared?
Little bit.
Little bit.
With the nursery, not so much our class.
But with Harry's class, we're going to be doing some science experiments, testing the pH within the worm bin, and then afterwards we're going to be setting up a worm bin for Harry's class, which is pretty cool, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Right, so today we've got a few topics we want to cover, and one of them is fluffing. Fluffing is where you dig around inside your worm bin and fluff the bedding up and the worm cast up. The idea of this is to let more oxygen into the bottom so your bin doesn't become anaerobic. We've been doing it and hadn't realised, but the awesome friends that we've made over on the experimental worm fun, they've been discussing it on there, so go and check that out, and then you'll see comments from myself there about what we do, but we'll show you it today. We'll show you fluffing in the bin, and then we're just going to talk about pot worms, which I thought were baby worms for a while, and then turns out they're not, so we'll be showing you them too. So yeah, so stay tuned, and we'll check on some of these bins and we'll show you what's going on. We'll check on some of the food experiments that's going on behind us, and we'll see how they are. So yeah, so stay tuned, guys. We'll also be checking on our hatchery up here because we believe there's lots of babies in there, but we'll show you that later on. Oliver, can you go and lift down worm bin number 2 for me? This bin is one of our Food X5 experiments, which this one had the sage in it, which was being eaten, and now it seems to not being eaten anymore. But these are pot worms in here. Pot worms, which we thought were baby worms. Pot worms are the same as species as our normal worms, are just much smaller. And the name suggests where you normally find them, in the bottom of pots. By themselves, they won't affect your worms or the conditions inside your worm bin. The only trouble is though is that with their numbers increase, they do eat a lot more food, so your worms won't get to eat them. And the same with the mites here. And this has only started since we've added the sage, so something else has changed in here, which we're not quite sure. We've changed something within the worm bin, and it's made it more. I'm not sure, but it's changed it anyway. And because of that, now we've got these mites. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to remove this bit here with all the mites on it and the ones with the pot worms on it. We're going to dispose of that in our food waste bin, and the idea behind that is to eliminate the pot worms. Now there's still some more mites there, but not as many as on there. If you do have mites and pot worms, one way to get rid of them is to soak bread in milk, add it to the top, and then the pot worms and the mites will gather to it, and then just dispose of it as we are putting in the food waste. So there you go, pot worms and mites for you. Right, so this is what we mean by fluffing up. It's where you get the bottom and you just dig it all, put your hand in and pull everything from the bottom up to the top and just mix the whole lot up. So all I'm doing is I'm putting my hands right to the bottom, all the corners, and then digging it up and then just messing it all up. Some people say that it annoys the worms, some people say it doesn't. But this is one of our older bins set up, so the bottom's been in here for around about 3 months without any movement. So what we're hoping is by doing this, it aerates the bottom and gets all of lets air into there, and all the built up chemicals and nasty gases and everything like that, lets it all out. And we're hoping that this triggers the worms into burrowing, eating, and just doing what general worms do. So there you go, that's what we're going to do. I'm actually going to take that out there because that has signs of pot worms on it, the big rooted stuff. Oh look, there's a worm and a cocoon in there, so we'll tip that out. Another worms on there. Right, there we go then. So, Oliver, if you bring the camera down, Oliver's doing the videoing here. That's a baby worm, and there's worms there. As you can see straight away, that looks much more more interesting for the worms, or much more better to us anyway. It's not such a mess anymore. Do you agree, boys?
Yes.
Right, we'll leave the rest of that in there because it's all got worms and stuff like that. What we'll do is we'll leave this for a few days now, and then once they've settled down, we'll start feeding again. But what we're going to start doing with all of our worm bins is removing all of the chunks of so much uneaten food. That's got worms on it there too, 2 baby worms. They're very baby worms, very small baby worms there. So we'll add them back into it. That was on a piece of avocado there. Thank you very much, Oliver. Awesome recording there. So this is the worm bin we added the baby corn to. Last time we added it, it got eaten very quickly, and this time it's not. Where it's big chunky bits, I don't know, but what we've been doing is just breaking up into smaller pieces to give more surface area for the worms to eat it. There's a worm snug there that's been in this bin since we started, and there's a worm snuggling in it, and if you look carefully, there is cocoons inside. Someone on our Instagram feed said that they don't call them worm snugs, they call them cocoon catchers. So there you go. So we break this corn up, guys, and then we're hoping that the worms will eat it much quicker.
Because if they have it too big, then...
There's another worm hanging out of a worm snug.
If they have it too big, then it's too hard to eat.
Yeah.
Because if they have it little, then it's
another
the
worm
right
snug with
size
lots
for
of...
them.
Sorry Harry, I didn't mean to talk over you.
It's okay.
It's all to do with surface area. So if the corn's broken up like this, it means that it's got more area for the microorganisms to gather around, and then they'll eat it better.
And they need the suck, so if they try to suck it, it won't fit in their mouth.
That's right. So there we go.
This one's really soft.
Yeah, well, some of it's slightly older than the rest, isn't it?
Because
Okay.
some might actually be, and the other day.
Yeah, that was it. Checking on our hatchery here, and if I zoom down into here, 1, 2, 3, and there's another one over here. There's more in there that Harry's just seen. So all of it was about 21 days ago that maybe 28 days ago that this was put in here. So all of our cocoons are starting to hatch out. So that's pretty awesome, Harry, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, Oliver, why do we add bubble wrap to the top of our... Why do we add bubble wrap now to the top of our worm bins?
Because the other stuff and the worms and it was very breakable.
Right, okay. Do you know what, Harry? Why?
Because then it keeps all the warmness in, but with the cardboard, it had holes in it, so it was letting the warmness out. But with the bubble wrap, it keeps the warmness in.
And then we find as well that there's a layer of moisture kept at the top and in the bubbles, and then we found that the worms come to the surface more, where when we just had cardboard they didn't, isn't it?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, Oliver, thumbs up.
Yes.
Thumbs up to the camera. Yeah. Right, boys, what new addition do we have to our worm farm? It's not actually part of the worm farm, but it's in another part of the garden.
We have a compost bin.
And what do we put in it, Oliver?
Vegetables.
And
Grass.
we put a little bit of grass in it, and we put some cow poo in it, horse poo. But why do we do that for?
Because it helps it to repose.
Compost. Yeah.
Compose.
So yeah, right. Do you want to add to that, Harry?
We don't add any cooked food to it because then it attracts rats.
And we don't put any cheese or butter or bread. It's just food scraps that we put in it, isn't it?
Yes.
Potato peelings and things like that, and fruit in it. banana peelings and things like that, don't we?
Sometimes my friends give me some.
Thumbs up. Thanks, guys. Well, that's it for today, guys. Thanks very much for watching and staying tuned with us. It's been pretty awesome. Our wormeries and worms are for sale, so if you do want to purchase any, then you can contact us over our normal social media, or you can check out our website, which is
BelfastWormFarm.co.uk.
awesome. Well done, Oliver. High five. Yeah. Yeah, so if you do like our videos and you want to see more, then don't forget to hit the like button. Well done, Oliver. And if you do want notification, don't forget to hit that little bell sign. Anything else to add, Harry?
If you want to see more, click up here.
Up there. And what's up there, Oliver?
Subscribe button.
Subscribe button's up there. So thanks very much, guys. Until next time, thanks very much.
Bye.
Bye.